Kaito good enough? This has definitely been the best Kaito deck I've played. Sorry about all the drop and everything. This has definitely been the best Kaito deck I've played. Man, thank you for 4 months. Appreciate ya. And I told you I wasn't going to play Kaito again unless I believed in the card. And I do believe it in this deck. I obviously don't love this hand. This is a turn 4 Archon, but we're on the draw. I think I'll keep. Luda, thank you for the 8 months. Appreciate ya. Luda. Brutality would be good in the deck. I don't think Brutality is. I think Brutality is a little underpowered as a main deck card, and you already have a good matchup against Burn in general. But you can play that card in some Reanimator variants. Yeah, we did Ragavan into Kaito. That won us our game earlier. It is pretty sick when you get to do it. Do you think Coffer's Urborg is undervalued, underplayed, or is it not good enough? I mean, some people try it. It doesn't like seem truly terrible to me when I see it. Oh, we're playing its Mill. This is definitely something that, like, you know, I've definitely got really used to just seeing a companion or no companion and having an idea of what we're playing against, and, like, that's not the case anymore. Obviously not a huge deal. Fine. I just have to jam. Obviously, if they have surgical or drown, we just kind of lose. Yeah, it's like there's like, in what world did they not have it there? Okay, I'm gonna actually just get my Godless Shrine now, because there's a good chance they can mill me off of it and stop me from flashing back rights. There's also like a decent chance they mill over my my Unburial Rites too. Should have fetched main. I mean, it doesn't. I want them to archive trap me to try to hit the rights. Actually, I'd be pretty happy if they mill it over. They draw 3 cards here. Pretty bad for me. I'm just so likely to have a surgical at this point in the game. They definitely have a drown too. Mill is so good. It was such a meme deck in Modern for so long, but it's definitely gotten there. They play a fetch land. Oh, dude, they play a fetch land. They're milling me for 24. Yikes. Yeah, the deck totally went from meme to dream. Gay. Okay, so I usually like to bring an Emissary since if they surgical your Archons, you still have a big creature to grab, and then Scion seems kind of dopey and dirtily. I wonder if I just play Voidwalker as another threat. I think it's probably fine. I think 63 cards is kind of our max. I think I'd rather be more at 62 with just 21 lands. I wonder if that changes post-Luris with the Maria's Retreat. Maria's Retreat? I think DRC is an actual placement. I 4-1 with DRC over Ragavan last night. I feel like it was an issue that you didn't actually have that many cards that trigger DRC in this list. It's like just the Thoughtseize and the Planeswalkers. Persist and Unmarked Grave don't really count. But it would be a fine replacement, yeah. I was also thinking you could play Wandering Mind, maybe. Maybe Wandering Mind over, like, Royal Scions, though. Sideboard Grave for pushes. Rely on the milled Archon's Forest. I don't know. Unmarked Grave is still, like, a pretty good enabler. I don't think that that's a terrible plan, but I think it's not the plan I'm going to employ. If Titan 4 color see an uptick, Tasha's gets worse. 4 color maybe, but Titan is Mill's best matchup, so that's just not the case. That specific deck just magically gets worse for Mill. That's just Mill's best matchup is Titan. Dude, this crab has 3 toughness. It's always like I paid $100 for these Ragavans, okay? I should be able to attack through the crab. Yeah, Hacker being an enchantment is weird. Yeah, this is part of the reason why I thought the DRC would be good. Is you do have the enchantment type, but you have no instants in the main too, no artifacts. You have planeswalkers though. It's kind of weird. Did the Culling Ritual come up against Hammer? I mean, I don't think it came up yesterday, but I have played Culling Ritual against Hammer plenty of times. It is one of, if not the best card you can have against them, especially now that Luris is gone. That is true. We do have the Voidwalker to beat the crabs. Ever been hit by 4 archive traps turn 1? I've been hit by 3. I don't think I've ever been hit by 4. How's Moonhacker? I think Moonhacker is good, like, specifically here. I think it may be good in other shells as well, but I don't know that there's like another like really clear home for it. And yeah, everybody will say, "Oh, it just fits into ninjas," but I don't know what ninjas is. Okay, 26 cards in the graveyard. None of them are Archon of Cruelty. I'm having issues. Orbit or repeat is working for me. It has worked for me in the past. I'm not gonna, take a break to check it at the moment. I'm not sure what the issue is. There's only one hat redemption a stream. Roadside Reliquary could be good. It's a fine card, yeah. Dude, we're super toast. Think Burn should play Rip over Sanctifier now? Well, I don't know. Like, I've always... Whenever I was playing a lot of Burn, Living In felt like one of the worst matchups to me, where they have, like, Griefs and Force of Negations to slow you down so much. And, like, boy, does their Living In just kill you super hard. And, like, Eidolon was just, like, never enough to race it. So, like, I think any card that makes the Living In matchup is really nice for Burn. But also, like, the more and more I play and talk about Burn, it just feels like it feels like I'm talking to a brick wall. I don't know. I'm gonna concede. I think I'm gonna pack it in. They've got 5 cards in their hands. We're super dead. Was last week 4-1? It was, yeah. My practice league off stream last night was also 4-1. I think this deck has legs. It also probably some room for tuning. Just like any other random deck's gonna have some bad matchups, gonna have some clunky draws. But there's a lot of really interesting overlapping synergy here. RNT, they were 2 months. Appreciate you. You can't mulligan Unmarked Grave Persist. I know that we only have 1 land. Maybe Ragavan finds us a land. Maybe we find it with Epicure. But you just like can never mulligan Unmarked Grave Persist. I found with this deck. Hey, Kodal. Scales. Scales is, talking about difficult decks. This is definitely one of the more difficult ones. So if I attack with the Ragavan, my opponent's going to block with Zabaz. Put a counter on the Ballista. That's probably okay. Am I doing? Excited for the format? Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, you could say that. Yesterday was a great stream. I like we kind of reached the end of the Neon Dynasty brews, and or I guess not quite because this is a Neon Dynasty brew too, but we're starting to reach the end of Neon Dynasty. and I was like kind of discouraged because I tried to play some of the like trophy race decks, and I just wasn't feeling it. And I've never tried to like, you know, force myself to play something I'm not enjoying. And I was really trying to figure out what to do next and like decks I was interested in. I like Fran's Grixis list. We played that yesterday. But boy, does the Lura Span like really reignite that spark and that interest in the format, which I'm always really happy about. I think not seeing Luras will give these decks a bigger boost, and having Luras mulligan decisions totally change. That's true to an extent. It is also true like for like mill and scales specifically. Like I don't know like how much mulligan decision against these decks necessarily matters, because it's like a lot of times you like don't expect to see scales or mill, but maybe you mulligan to a hand with cheaper interaction or chalice, I guess. Has Elden Ring felt easier for me than other Souls games? There are elements of it that are easier and elements that are more difficult. You know, like one thing about the other Souls games in the past is that they have like a pretty like there's a pretty like clear, after you play it, the more you play them, especially Dark Souls 3 has like the most clear path of direction you should take. And like there is some like, dude, I actually want my entire sideboard in this matchup, all 15 cards. There are some elements. Or there's some like flexibility in like the routes you can take in the older Dark Souls games. Sorry, yeah, actually like Voidwalker is great against scales, push, wear tear, emissary, needles. All these cards are fantastic. I think we just keep these in as cheap discard enablers. Just kind of pivot completely. IKT, thank you for the 7 months. Blackwater with the Twitch Prime, appreciate you. Probably gonna look at this. But so like I it's definitely like, you know, there's a lot of like wandering around in Elden Ring and exploring the world and like just getting crushed because you're under leveled for the area you're in. And there is some of that in the older Souls games, but like that element is like really exacerbated here. But there's also like a lot of tools in Elden Ring that make the fights easier. Your summons, you can't be invaded when you're playing solo. Like a lot of the crafting and items like really does help you like power through areas if you take the time to learn how the mechanics work. That's fine. So like, yeah, just like, you know, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I don't necessarily feel like one. Elden Ring is like, it's just different game. Blackwater, thank you for Twitch Prime, appreciate you. Think Bant is still the best blue-white variant. If so, what do I change? I could have maybe commented on that before the Luras ban, but I did really like that deck before the Luras ban. I think like basically all the blue-white variants were pretty valid though and viable. But like my current opinion is that if you want to be a control player, like something you have to understand is when you experience a metagame shift, like we're currently experiencing, it just takes time to figure out how the metagame is going to shift. If that makes sense. I think I just need to take as a Boz here. Ravager's not doing too much with the Voidwalker, but they can legend rule as a Boz to at least like Ozlith counters. Metagame shift a lot, and like you just like need to wait to see how things settle before you figure out what the best variant is. Like nobody knows for sure how things are going to evolve with the Luras ban. I don't think they're going to change a ton, but I think it's just better to wait and see how things settle before going crazy with your hot takes. Torborb does not turn off Serra's Emissary, no. I think I leave all these in play because I can maybe draw an Epicure and just ping them for the last damage if I can connect with the Neonate. Twitch will let me renew my subscription. I'm being kept from all the Shark Typhoons. Yeah, you're also being kept from a child being born in your honor, which is a new offer. All new subscribers get a child born by my partner Esther with your username in the future. I don't know what's going on though. I hope that you can figure it out. And no rush, of course. Sick, thank you for the Twitch Prime, appreciate you. Phil's the 6 months, appreciate you. Children will be born in your honor down the line, of course, but for sure at some point. 100% guarantee. What other streamer guarantees a child to be born? Dude, we drew the Epicure. We drew the Epicure. Would have been cooler if we drew it off the Neonate. A very classy, random. Why does it, I don't know why this card deals the damage when it enters. It's so weird. I guess it's for like standard decks. No, Torpor Orb. No, the orb. The orb. I'm sorry, I forgot about this freaking orb. The tech, the meta. Vanilla 1/1. I mean, we still win, right? They can't modular because of the Voidwalkers. Oh no, so we don't win. They get to Ozlith. Yeah, we're dead. Sorry. Dang it. Well, at least you have an incredible matchup. The silver lining of having an incredible matchup.
What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
Living Obus Shadow. Any changes today? I think I changed. I think I cut the Murderous Cut in the sideboard for. I know I cut this one of the Murderous Cuts. I still have one. I cut it for the second Force Cinder, but you know, very small, tiny tweak. I think we're gonna play some of this next. Some more of the Mardu Obus Shadow. We trophied our only league with this deck yesterday. It felt pretty good. Obosh won us 2 games, I think. Casted a few more times than that. I love this hand. We've had this hand a few times. It's definitely a question here of do we want to try to play around Path by reanimating Emissary? Or by reanimating Archon, or just go for the Emissary? I think against maybe they could go. I'll try to play around Path a little bit. I think both lines probably win. I feel like this deck is missing the white removal spells, still feel good. Well, you have the Wear Tears in the sideboard to be able to deal with Graveyard Hate post board. I do still feel like ending is super important, but I do still feel like ending is super important. Yeah, turn 2 Archon on the play has been so good. Be right back. I think I'll try this. Definitely prefer to be on the play with this hand. A lot of hammer today. Ragavan not the worst draw. Gonna cast that on turn 1. Yeah, the wise words of our sensei and teacher Andrea Mengucci. Putting Kiki Jiki in a deck has never made any deck better. Which is maybe true, maybe not true. Yeah, Goblins notable exception. Goblin's notable exception. Okay, my opponent grabbed a Cauldra, which definitely implies that they are not trying to block this Ragavan. But then they blocked the Ragavan. We're currently 2-0 also against Hammer today. I historically have found Reanimators pretty good against Hammer. Basically every variant I've ever played. President Obama, thank you for the 7 months. Appreciate you. Goblin says, I think Goblins definitely. I think it's a little better from the ban. I think Grixis Shadow was not a terrible matchup, but you know the dress downs were pretty tough. Their cheap interaction could, especially when you lost the die roll, could have been. It was awkward sometimes. So your hand is Cauldra, Hammer, then another equipment, which is now Nettle Cyst. Any room for 2/3 Face Shield on the board of Obus Shadow? That card's kind of sucks. I don't think so. It's like cool and fun, but not a card I think you really need. Goblins with Twin Shoot Sniper. Twin Shoot Sniper is really underpowered. I know we got crushed by it out of Living End earlier today. It's like a little bit of a different beast there. They discarded a Hammer? I'm really surprised they discarded Hammer over like Nettlecyst here. Plague Engineer could be a problem for goblins going forward. I mean, the best sideboard card in the format it could be a problem for a deck, but I don't expect immediately for there to be a ton of Colossus Hammers. No. Yeah, they need to set the Paladin. Okay. How's this list compared to Esper Ephemerate version? It seems to be like a lot better against hate pieces because you just get to cast like your cheap 1-drops, your planeswalkers, and like just fight through like hate pieces pretty well. And then I think it loses like some nut draw potential. If that makes sense. Yeah, pretty easy choice to sack the Germ there, I think. Kind of wanting to draw a Thoughtseize. No Thoughtseize to be found. But yeah, I don't expect Plague Engineer to like re-enter the format in a meaningful way anytime soon. So I mean we have to survive here. We're not dead to the Nexus, are we? Right? Because they get to go. Oh, they get to animate Nexus, equip Hammer to Nexus, and then equip the Cauldron to the Nexus too. So we are dead if they see that line. Like, we're probably dead either way. Yeah. Close game. Close game. Getting pretty used to sideboarding in this matchup though. Hammer definitely seems to be very popular today. Yeah, we're cutting the Hackers and 5 of our 3-mana Planeswalkers before the Wear Tears, the pushes, and the Emissary. Yeah, Cauldron equipping for 0 is pretty nice in the Hammer deck. Yeah, I don't think you really want Needle here because they now have so many different equipments to bring in. You mostly want Needle for like decks that play Relic of Progenitus and or Nile Spellbomb, or sometimes Lantern. Although Needling Lantern's worse because they have an ETB. Well, you keep this hand every time. If there's lands in our first 2 draws, we get to Serra's Emissary on turn 2 on the play, and if not, we're drawing to that out with a Fatal Push and Epicure to buy us a little time. How much do you think the cat was suppressing Plague Engineer's playability? Almost 0. Almost 0. Like, I've played plenty of like non-Lurrus Black-Red X decks, and Plague Engineer has not been a well-positioned sideboard card in Modern for a long time. If Plague, it's mostly that like tribal decks are just not popular or well-positioned anymore, rather than nobody plays Plague Engineer because they want to play Lurrus instead. Like tribal decks have just, and like 1 toughness creature decks have not been popular enough to like really make you want to play Plague Engineer. That could change with the metagame shifting, but I don't think it's that likely to change if we're going to be honest. They consider Mulldrifter at all. I would play Wandering Mind over Mulldrifter in this version. Much better with the ninjutsu effect. But and with Kaito potentially, but I'm not sure if that's a card you want here. But it's something to keep in mind, and maybe it's something we try later. Yeah. Plague Engineer very good against Infect. If Lurrus was keeping tribal decks out of the format, then you may see Plague Engineer come back. I don't really think that that's necessarily the case. I mean, Red Black X did have good tribal matchups, but I just don't necessarily feel like that was the only factor or the main factor or whatever. But I could be wrong. Well, they're not conceding, so they're definitely acting like they have an out to my Emissary in the deck. If it's Teferi, we do get to just like loot it away again and reanimate it again. Triple Sentinel. Very good draw for my opponent in this matchup. Triple Sentinel and a Lantern, but thankfully we had the turn 2 reanimate on the play. Like, really, any other draw of ours is not good enough here, I think. Was Humans underplayed / bad before? I mean, Humans has been a somewhat viable deck in Modern for a while. Like, it is, you can have a winning record with it if you spend a lot of time with it. There are a lot of decks like that in Modern that they're like not the best choice for a tournament, but if you spend a lot of time with them, you're gonna have a winning record. I actually think that like most reasonable decks in Modern, if you spend enough time with it and learn it and tune it, you will have a positive win rate. Just because the format is so open. But Humans players are discouraged because I think that historically Humans pilots have been pretty competitively minded. They don't really want to play the deck if it's not going to be a great tournament choice. But and the Lurrus ban does help the Humans archetype. It absolutely does. Like the Engineer explosive loops and like dress down loops were really a problem for Humans. What's our record with this deck so far? 4-1 off stream last night, into 0-2 drop, into 4-1, and now we're 1-1. So, I mean, you can add all that up. But it's okay. Okay record so far. Keep in mind, though, of course, all my losses were bullshit. They don't really count. And then all my wins were very skillfully executed. Ending is probably the worst thing that happened to Humans lately. Fury is way worse for Humans than Ending. Fury is so much worse for Humans than Ending. Title of stream is old. Grixis Ninja Reanimator? We're still playing the deck. I can't believe my opponent just didn't attack here. They just didn't attack. We're dead to 2 hammers this turn, I guess. Maybe like I just have dead to 2 hammers next turn. Did I see or played against the Cabal Coffer Mono Black Karn deck? I've seen it, yeah. Trellon, I believe was the brewer of that deck. He's a friend of the channel. It's a cool list for sure. Our deck's like Black Red Rock Dead Post Ban? No. We 4-1 to Black Red Rock without Lurrus yesterday. I tweaked the list that we played with a little bit too. I expect to continue to play the deck and enjoy it. Like it did get worse. It did get nerfed, but like it can adapt and survive. Okay, what is this last card? It's a Paladin, and we have a Persist. Let's hope they don't have a Nile Spellbomb, but if they do have a Nile Spellbomb, we do get to block the Midnight or whatever has the hammer on it, loot away Unburial Rites, and try to Rites the Emissary back next turn. I think Jeskai Lotus Control is still good. Actually, I think so, yeah. I think I'm actually pretty excited to... Or, like, that's the deck I think I'm going to play at the Hunter Burton this weekend. We'll see. I'm going to SCG Con in 2 weeks. I'm going to the one in Dallas. That one's like a month away, though. Dispatch they're only out. Well, they could have Teferi, Dispatch, Path to Exile. Yeah, no longer can have Aether Spellbomb at least. How do you guys do in Chicago? We lost 2 win-ins for top 8, but we had fun, huh? So you didn't queue Sunday Energy? Yeah. I was faced with the decision of like coming home a little early, spending some time with Esther, being able to relax before Monday stream, or playing the Energy, and like I enjoy team tournaments a lot more than paper tournaments, or than single person tournaments. I mean I like both a lot, but team tournaments are so good, and And like the prize pool was smaller. I didn't like enjoy playing Bant Control on paper as much as I had hoped. The deck was kind of annoying to play in paper, to be honest. I should have actually dashed Ragavan and played Epicure here. If I press this now, put them at 12. And then I have 8. Yeah, I don't have lethal next turn. I'll just cast the Ragavan. Fair to say burn will be more prevalent this weekend. The last time the Hunter Burton happened, everyone was like, hey, burn is going to be the most popular deck. You must prepare for the burn matchup. And then it was just like a slightly below. It was like a normal amount of burn for Magic Online or slightly below average. Like everybody always goes, Texas. They activated Shadow Spear. That doesn't do anything. Texas is full of burn. Texas is full of burn. Prepare for burn. And like I think it is true that burn or Texas has like a slightly higher proportion of burn players compared to maybe like the rest of the world, but like the amount is super overblown. It's super exaggerated. It's not like that disproportionate like that everybody acts like it is. I think I'm gonna get a little greedy and keep this on the play. I think there's a good chance we get to Moon Circuit Hacker on turn 2. Can loot away the Archon. How is my local meta? I mean, I haven't I don't play my local meta really anymore. I know how it used to be. I think I played Epicure on turn 1. It's kind of close between that or Neonate. If they do play a blocker, then I'll wish I had the Neonate. But like, there's not that many cards that like block the that will even like want to trade with Epicure on turn 1. Significant change in meta. Well, they took Ragavan. They didn't take my Hacker. All right, land. Awesome, perfect. Let's Thoughtseize them. Oh, dude, it's the mono black deck. They have Defile, Fatal Push, so 2, and March for the Wicked, or Wretched Sorrow. So 3 ways to kill my cheap creatures, I guess. I'll just take the Invoke Despair. This deck is sick. I've been really enjoying it. No Serra main. Seems strong chance to play turn 1 more game. Well, I mean, you can never turn 1. You can turn 2 it. But the thing is, like, Serra's Emissary is good against, I think, maybe 10% of the metagame. Maybe not even that many. Serra's Emissary is good against, like, exactly Hammer Time, Scales, Affinity, and then you bring it in against Serra's Emissary decks post-board so that, you know, it doesn't even have a creature to reanimate that's not Emissariable. But it's just like, it's not good in like more than like 10% of your matchups. Maybe 15, maybe 20. But like, if that's the case, like, that's a sideboard card. A card that's not good in more than like 10 or 15% of your matchups. That's a sideboard card right there. That is not a main board card, in my opinion. Okay, get the rights. Oh, whoops. Didn't tap very well there, huh? What is this? Soren the Mirthless. Make a vampire. I can tech Soren down to 1. I guess now I'm going to play the Kaito. What I played Red Black down of Lily. I'm not 100% sure. Like, you could maybe try to play Consumes All in the main deck. With the problem with main decking Consumes Alls, of course. Hold on. They chose not to use Soren the Mirthless ability. Weird. And now they're shuffling their top card away. Also weird. So their hand is Defile, March of Wretched Sorrow. I mean, I would have put Invoke in my hand there. I would have taken 5. So I know that I'm not going to get to connect with my Ragavan. Singing the name of the next card drawn. Okay. Headphone users, turn your headphones down. Or forever hold your peace. Moon Circuit Hacker! Okay. Epicure. Sack the blood token. Try to find a white source or persist. If I Thoughtseize, my opponent can't super effectively cast both removal spells, so I guess I just take one. This could be the March, I guess. Well, they're pitching the Defile to deal 3 damage to the... Oh, 3 damage to the Kaito so they can attack it next turn. Fair enough. But this does mean that my Ragavan, if they attack with the token, is going to have free reign. They do, you know, they get a draw step, they get a +1 with sword, they have a lot of mana. This is a mono Blacklist set. Oh, dude. Invoke Despair. I have to sack all my creatures. I actually have to sack... Oh, I can sacrifice a Planeswalker. Oh, sacrifice a creature, then repeat process for enchantment and Planeswalker. I see. Then they draw a card. Okay, I didn't really understand how this card worked, I guess. I see now. Wow, they're attacking with Ragavan. Kind of bold. If this works, we get to kill Sorin and their token, though. Yeah, I don't think they have anything. Dude, they're playing Karn? I don't know if that makes this card better or worse than I thought. Do I have an out to bridge? I don't think I have an out to bridge. Hopefully they don't have another card on top, and they don't. Okay, I'm pretty scared of Karn. I think I'm going to bring in Needles. They have so much removal too. I feel like I should just trim on Ragavan a little bit. Maybe no, I should trim the Hackers. These cards are Hacker is more vulnerable to removal than Ragavan just because it's 2 mana. Do they actually need Urborg? What lands do they have down at black? The Cabal Coffers and Castle Locthwain, maybe. Have I played the Scions? Yeah, we've cast the Scions a few times. I think it's fine. I think Wandering Mind might be better than the Royal Scions in this list. Isn't Scion's Ultimate an out to bridge? I guess so, yeah. I guess so. Dude, I'm just starting to become addicted to this hand. Like, so many of my Reanimator variants I've played just, like, can't get an Archon and play on turn 2 because there's so few effects like this. You know, 1 mana discard outlets. And the fact that Neonate is great because it's a 1 mana discard outlet, but it also works with Hacker and it works with Kaito really well. Blocks Ragavan. Card is pretty sick. Yeah, great card. I'm just gonna. I could Hacker here. It's like way worse against removal though. And you know, them being mono black, they would have to have like Surgical here, which they absolutely could have. But I think you're supposed to jam the Archon. Especially because like a lot of their removal misses it. Push and Defile. Okay, Ninjutsu off of Archon. They're going to march. Okay, exiling 2 cards. They're down to 1 card in their hands. Trade deal accepted, I guess. Necromentia is the card. I guess they're going to choose Archon of Cruelty. Pretty good choice. Not a bad last card. Not a bad last card. Dude, I would have drawn Persist. Alright, go Hacker. I only have 2 Hackers in the deck. I've got both of them in my hand. The Last Spard, thank you for the 6 months. Appreciate ya. Okay, happy to draw a land here. Unmarked Grave is pretty dead. Let's discard that. And then I'm going to play the Kaito. Unfortunately, Kaito's Ultimate no longer can get our Archons, but I think a little stream of card advantage is fine. They're going to draw a card end of turn, I assume. Royal Scions, another win condition too. Oof. I guess they have Thoughtseize for whatever they grab here. They grab Needle. No, this is actually phased out, opponent. You it is actually illegal for you to Needle my Kaito. Straight to jail, opponent. I might be Unburial Ritesing an Insolent Neonate. Oh, they knew about the Scions in the hand, though. Okay. That's fair. Should I make a token? I kind of think so, yeah. Just need more attackers. My deck is a lot weaker with the Necromanship Archons. They got one card in their hand. Their card's only on one loyalty. Oh, I thought it was yielded until end of turn. Wait, let's see what their card in hand is. Can inform us how we're gonna sequence the rest of this turn. Oh, I thought that those were Necromanship. I thought that those were out of the game. Maybe we should discard it a Royal Scions instead, actually. I Dimir Shadow go. We only played a couple matches of it before moving on to the Mardu Shadow, which we trophied with. I did see on Twitter like a lot of people posting that they were doing well with like Grixis Shadow variants. So I'm excited to see how the deck evolves. We will obviously continue to work on it too. It's just gonna take a little time. They named Kaito? I've already got a Kaito in play. Dude, this actually just gave me a zombie. This literally just gave me a zombie. Not the most powerful play. Yeah, I would have named Ragavan. Excuse me. Get some more water. Alright, I'm going to Unburial Rites an Insolent Neonate, chat. I'm not above it. Not above it. They have a Damnation of the Yard. They probably don't have too many more. Is Soren unbeatable here? 2/3 lifelink. I think we have an Alpha Strike. I'm not sure though. So dash Ragavan, they block the Ragavan, then they take 6 plus 10. Yeah, it's lethal. Okay, we 4-1'd our last league. We're 3-1 right now. It always feels bad to like lose the first match of a league. I 4-1 my off-stream match. I feel like we've got something here. We can keep this. I paid out the 3-2 prediction last week. The Doubters won, I think, right? Alright, I guess I'll offer the trade of Neonate for Ragavan. And if they kill the Neonate, we can discard the Archon. Oh yeah, I meant to put my Luris. Oh boy. At least we get to get an Archon of the Yard before this comes down. Yeah, I meant to put my Luris over here. Everything's falling apart on the collage. Yeah, if Athena always liked to be back there, maybe we would have a dog cam. Then says she doesn't. She usually likes to hang out with Esther, but Esther's in the office today. Athena also always gets like a little extra clingy for a couple days after I'm out of town. All right, come on, persist off the top. Well, they took the Thoughtseize. Probably not good for me. Now I've got 2 blockers for Ragavan. There was a prediction. Prediction I think just ended. I did do it. I was looking to play some Dreaded Arcanist. Any viable shells? Yeah, I guess. This was a deck I had some success with before MH2. It's probably not very good right now. Do another Royal Scions deck. But I always like Arcanist with Piracy Charm because it can like let you pump spell, like draw 2 3 mana spell like Archmage's Charm, or just like making them like killing Ragavan, killing one toughness creature, just making them discard cards. I would like this deck back in the day. Long time ago though. So they must have another Ragavan if they're going to make this attack. That was a tremendous weekend. It was fun. I played Band Control, which was worse to play on paper than I expected. The team was really fun, though. It was great to hang out with Zach and Caleb. Dude, okay, so I need to find a Persist right now because this is about to exile my graveyard. Get 2 more looks, or I probably just concede. I mean, we probably have a bad matchup against the deck main decking Voidwalker and Consumes All. What can I say? Come on, Persist. Let's go! Imagine doubting. Imagine ever doubting. They might have removal spell though. They took the Thoughtseize. Although maybe they wanted to protect the Consumes All. Not a bad draw either. Yeah, simply outskilled. Feigned Death. Okay, so they're playing Grief. Let's go. No! Exile the Archon. It's okay. It's okay. We're both top decking. No companions. No companions. No maidens. Just skill. Come on! It's outrageous. It's unfair. Is my camera a little drunk? Yeah, I just refocused it to look at Athena for a second, so it's gonna be a little wonky. Well, I can't discard the Archon into the Voidwalker. Let's see if I can. Can I race by pumping? No, I can't. I can just kill my Royal Scions, I guess. We'll see what happens. I get to keep both my Planeswalkers for next turn. I think I need to find Ragavan to really have a chance. Like, dash Ragavan, hit a removal spell. They draw a discard effect, which I'm sure their deck has plenty of. They get to Archon off the Voidwalker. I think Omnath Yorion is the current go-to in Modern. I don't know. I think it is going to be, yes, very popular for the next few days, next few weeks. I also think that the deck is kind of like, it was a deck that was good in the metagame against the red-black decks. Like, that was a big part. Oh, come on. Dude, this card is so good. That was a big part of like what that card, did in the metagame, and it is no longer. Oh my gosh, it is no longer able to do that. I mean, this is like literally the only card that does anything here. Need to find a removal spell. No, just a Cliffs. We do get to draw a card with the Kaito though. Okay. Exile all graveyards. They can't kill both of my Planeswalkers. They can kill one of them, though. It's also true, like, I have a Ragavan I'm dashing, so they may be scared of that. But if they go attack Voidwalker at Kaito, I can go dash Ragavan, pump Ragavan with the Royal Scions. Yeah, so it looks like they're killing Kaito. Hitting me with Consumes All. We obviously needed them to break this turn, and now we need to find a removal spell off the Ragavan to kill Voidwalker, reanimate Archon. But if we can do that, we're obviously going to be in good shape. Should I pump Ragavan? I could actually potentially present lethal next turn, but I guess I'm just going to die to the Consumes All anyway, so I guess no, I shouldn't. They really draw a removal spell? Oh man. If that removal spell had just been the card we hit off Ragavan instead of the top card, we win. Close game. Close game. Bolt is lethal. Ah, that's a good point, yeah. Oh, what a tough game. You guys want to play Fatal Push over Thoughtseize? Modded 19, next to the 15. Thank you guys. The Lurrus ban caused Wizards to ban Abundant Growth. I don't know. For the most part, it seems like the general consensus in the community is that the Lurrus ban is great for Yorion decks. I think that I personally predict Lurrus in the long run will be net negative for Yorion. Where Yorion, a big part of its position in the metagame was to be good against Red Black X, which were the fair Lurrus decks. And the natural predators of Yorion are Titan, Titan, Belcher, linear combo decks in general, some Cascade variants, I guess like specifically Glimpse. And you know these kinds of decks are the decks that preyed on 4-color, and none of these decks got nerfed, and these decks are maybe even better because there's gonna be less like of the fair Lurrus decks. So if you see more of these linear decks in the metagame, you're gonna see less Yorion potentially. It's also definitely true, like you might just see like people being like, yep, Yorion's best thing to do, kick W, and people just play it no matter what the metagame looks like. But yeah, I think that it's a misunderstanding of the modern format when people talk about how Yorion is just the best deck now. I think people like really think that the format is just like a mid-range fest, which is not the case. Like Modern, like one of the best things about Modern, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, I feel, is the fact that the format has a lot of different viable types of archetypes and a lot of different strategies smacking into each other. And it's not like Standard and Pioneer and Historic, where it's a lot of like battle cruiser magic, mid-range decks smacking into each other, going over the top of each other. You know what I mean? At least that's my take on the whole issue. Okay, we already have an Archon in the yard. Though if they Thoughtseize my Archon in hand, it's going to be kind of messy, perhaps. With the Cascade decks position in the meta? Well, I'm not sure. Like, they probably don't change that much. But it's also like hard. I can't perfectly tell you how things are going to change. I don't think they're going to change it super drastically. Like, I can predict, like, what people are going to do immediately. Like, people are going to play, again, more of the... Let's go. People are going to play more of the 4-color deck. They're going to play more Titan. They're going to play more Hammer. People are going to be experimenting with Grixis Shadow, post-bans. And so, like, that's what I expect people to be playing, like, this week, next week. I don't know what's going to happen the week after. That is, like, too far in the future to see. If that makes sense. When Kaito phases out, trigger Revolt. I don't think so. I think that phasing doesn't trigger Revolts. Maybe Shadow goes back to more Boomer style. Maybe, but it's also... We tried a more traditional Shadow list yesterday, and then we tried an Obosh version with... Ragavan, and that version 5-0'd. I think it's still good to loot away the Archon against the Voidwalker deck, just not like letting them get a Void counter on it. Is phase-in a triggered ability? I don't remember seeing a trigger go on the stack, but I could just have like blanked on it, I guess. Dude, Hacker is so good. So good with Epicure. Might get Fury next turn. How many lands you played in Obasha deck? You can find the list on the stream deck or Twitter, but I think I had 20 lands. Alright. See if we can get our third 4-1 with the Ninjas deck. Phasing is a turn action, no stack. Interesting. What do you reckon about Heliod combo returning to the meta? I mean, Heliod is probably underexplored. Like, you gotta play some Modern Horizons 2 cards. You probably gotta play Esper Sentinel. I think the archetype is generally underexplored. It's also, like, a lot easier to beat than it was before, and it's also still miserable to play and play against on Magic Online, I imagine. Alright, they've got the Turbo Monkey. I think I had a chance of Grixis Murktide getting better with Kaito. I tried it. I didn't like it that much in that deck, unfortunately. I was gonna say you need more lands for a botch to actually hit the field frequently in the Shadow deck. I think you don't understand how companions work. Or sorry. That sounded more condescending than I meant it to. I think you don't understand how companions play out under the new nerf, or under the nerf, where because it costs 3 mana to put in your hand. Like, it just, Obosh is a card that comes in the late game, or like so much in the late game. Like, if getting 5 lands for it's not that big a deal, because it just happens so late that you go for the Obosh, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to play a lot, like, Obosh is not a huge part, no companion besides Luris, or maybe Yorion. It's like a huge part of your deck's game plan. It's just flood insurance. You know what I mean? Your Obosh is flood insurance, and so you're going to have the mana to cast it a lot of the time in the late game when you go for it. Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough. Need a Ragavan. Dude, wait, how do they have Nile Spellbomb on their sideboard? No, I'm fuming. They're main decking Voidwalker and Hizutsu Consumes All, and they're like, let's, you know, I think we actually need some extra graveyard hate in the sideboard. I think that we are a little light on graveyard hate. Let's actually play Nile Spellbomb in the sideboard too. Unlucky for us, huh? Yeah, their deck is sweet though. I don't think they should have like 10 graveyard hate spells like they have. So predicting 10. You have to force them to pop the bomb? I mean, how can I do that? I mean, I'm just gonna attack them. That's all I can do. Ragavan's definitely the best draw because it unlocks, you know, a lot of colors. There it is. I can hold it to play around Consumes All, or I can cast it to play around Discard Spell. I think I'll hold it for Consumes All. Maybe we could have done this pre-combat, the sack. It's kind of an interesting draw. I don't think that Consumes All should necessarily be better in this metagame compared to the last one. I think there's a good chance they have Fury in their hand. I think I should cast this Thoughtseize, actually. I know that my colored sources are pretty precious. Okay, maybe those fears were a little unfounded. But, I mean, obviously, if my opponent's hand is super weak like this, that's good for me, too. Of course, they will never crack this spell bomb. Even though they're super behind, they're getting beat down. Okay, they cracked it. Yeah, but Consumes All was really good against every Luris deck, so I think that it's probably a net negative for the card for Luris to be banned. Did I enjoy Grixis Control? I did like that deck, yeah, but it's hard to build control decks when the metagame shakes up. Curse you, Fury. Well, we do have some good series of draws. They probably can't attack super effectively into the Ragavan either. Should have taken the Fan Death. Now Fury plus red card is hyper scary. I'm more concerned of just one basic swamp. Like that, they could just cast a Fury, like if they, you know, pretty easily. And like the Feign Death is like not. I don't like that logic at all. Like they have to draw a red card and a Fury as opposed to just one basic swamp. And it's not like Fury is like bad for them if we take the Feign Death anyways. So now we cast this. So if they find a removal spell, they'll think we are out of Ragavans and attack. Is your Outcast Affinity deck good? Yeah, I like that deck. I'd recommend it. I mean, I think that there's a lot of viable affinity variants, though. It's not like clear to me that that's the best version. Deck tech for Stokey. Play against any Shadow today? Not today, no. Play against Murktide. Okay, so Heliod Druid. Interesting to smush these two decks together. Is Eldormi's Call better than Finale? I guess Finale's Finale can actually kill with Devoted Druid, but like what's cool about Eldormi's Call is you get to break. It's 2 mana plus whatever you're getting, but you get to break it up over the course of 2 turns and potentially at instant speed too. Okay, we would need something absurd like Epicure or Voldaren into Swamp. I guess that can't even happen because they have the Feign Death actually. Yeah, my initial reaction is that I would probably prefer to play Eldormi's Call over Finale. Like Eldormi's Call also wins the game if you have infinite mana, but you just need a white mana too, which seems like, you know, not like too much to ask necessarily. A little too late on the basic lands. Okay, 4-1 into 3-2. Reed, thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate you. I think I want to pivot to one of my other decks I've prepped for today. Where's my treasure chest? Swag with the 5 months. Appreciate you. Finale can get Dried Arbor. I don't think that outweighs the... Is there even a Dried Arbor in this list? There's not one currently in the list. I don't know that Dried Arbor is like really that worth it either.